please be reminded. Funding request from the podium should a member public wish to make a funding request, please contact the director for consideration. Clerk will now call the roll to verify at least two members are here. This is a sunshine meeting between Mary Chan.
Member Surgeon? Member Chance?
Here.
Member Cornell? Member Hart? Member Labarda? Member Patton? Member Twombly? Honorable Suzanne Wilson Bullard.
Mary and I to have a sunshine meeting. There'll be no action taken. Our agenda, we can't even adopt it because we don't have quorum, but our agenda is basically an open board discussion. Then we'll open it to the public and then we will. Marcia's here, Molly's here.
Questions? We
Yeah.
could provide some.
Okay. We're calling this meeting.
Oh, sure.
So let me first say, as the chair of the governing board, the chair, has no powers, no greater. Run, and chair the meeting. Now, one thing that Marcia and I have done regularly is we have met the month before the board meeting to go over items that are on the agenda. That if there's any input I can give, basically creates the agenda. That's the time
I'm sorry, a full month before usually, or? Okay,
prior to it being published.
Yeah,
okay, got
so
it.
usually maybe publishing date. We kind of. We kind of have an agenda list of every month what we hope to be able to bring forward. And if something changes from that, I'll usually have a conversation with Ken, give the chair a draft agenda so that you can see what the presentations are going to be under Ken's direction. As chair, you could say, the agenda looks really full. Let's pull something from the agenda. You could also ask for us to add something to the agenda. So that's typically what those meetings consist of, is us really looking at what we're going to be doing. If you as chair feel that there's something that the board needs to discuss, we could add that to the agenda. And if the agenda looks like it's going to be lengthy, take something off. And then I would get with staff and we would determine when we could bring that item back at another time.
I would say as a board member, you have that same right. And so as a chair, you just kind of get. The chair from the meeting standpoint is just to give everybody the opportunity to give input. And to really just run the meeting. Now, I will say, in addition to running the meetings, the other two time commitments are ceremonial things when we have special events, ribbon cuttings, special trust events where a representative of the board is requested or needed to be public. That's usually an extra time. 1 to 2 weeks. The treasurer, the executive process checks and sign off on those items. And what I like to do is I ask that I'm the last one to sign off. So that it's been through Molly, it's been through Marcia, it's been through the treasurer, and then the chair as the check signing authority that's given. I get those on my phone, I review them on my. Why are we paying? Program with a
Mhm.
contract, okay, makes sense, and then sign off on those things, but it's not, it's more of a ministerial. As an additional control.
Signers are officer.
The treasurer.
Treasurer
Okay,
and the chair.
By the time it gets to you, has reviewed it all. And treasurer, Ken has asked for me to sign. In previous years, I have not signed unless one of you wasn't available. So I'm fine with that. We can continue it where it can be signed off by the treasurer, me, and then it will go to you.
same level of backup information is provided to all.
The backups in the.
Passed along is the copy. So, pardon. So the same level of backup documentation should be provided when it goes through its cursory review. It's intended to be that once I have processed it internally, that we have gone through the process there. And then when it gets sent out for signature, it should have the checks and then a check payment batch register attached to it as well.
That's it, no backup though.
Yeah, just-
Yeah,
What
that's
you
the
want
only,
to see.
right.
Just a check register, but if you have a question about a check, you can get them. The two primary extra things. The big time commitment is the having a luncheon and I need you to be. And if the chair can't make it, Marcia covers or another board member oftentimes can go.
Mhm.
Times when I just can't make it, or I've got another meeting, or I'm out of town, or
Mhm.
got a grandbaby on the left leg and another one on the right leg, and I just can't, so. But there, I would say 1 or 2 times a month.
That's good.
Apps, I'll be in that grandbaby scenario. That does bring me to succession planning. Bylaws before this, but ideally, there are succession plan. I know we've had.
So I'll answer that like this. We have 5 statutory members. County Commissioner, School Board, Department of Children and Families, and a judge. Always have 5. Also have 5 governor appointees. 4-year terms, a 3-year term, a 1-year term, a 2-year term. Those are less. And it is my hope. Of 3 4-year terms and 2 2-year terms. My hope that we can get that board, those appointees filled. One of the things I like about, if you would consider. Talk about this as a full board, is I like the idea of the chair rotating between the government. Not in the bylaws, it's not anything that has to happen, but it gives a nice rotation of, I think, what the statute. 5 statutory members and then 5 other members that are not elected. Difficulty with that piece though is an appointee. Have to kind of time it to where they're not off the board or they could be. 4-year term? Yeah.
Mhm.
Sure. Unless something happens, you're on the board for 2 more.
that idea of rotating, since.
Yeah, now,
Mandatorily required,
yeah, now I will tell,
Reason as chair, but.
I will tell you, Tom is in touch with the governor's office about the reappointment of Nancy and Lee, which, which would be great, because then, you know, they would have. Art and Lee Pickerson.
Henley, okay.
Way the governor appointees works, as you know.
Same, it's gone to the governor's office and waiting. We're waiting on all the appointments at this. Well, we were surprised when the your appointment, because we were hoping for the vacant appointment. We did not get that appointment, but we were happy to receive you on our board.
Right.
But it was just a surprise that the other one, which had been vacant, wasn't
Karen
filled.
Cole Smith.
Yes.
That's been vacant for 3 years.
I think my only question then is, when you look ahead.
So Ken would gavel. He would, yeah, it would be we don't meet in January, so technically it's February. But we would accept you at the annual meeting, which is the December meeting. So the December meeting, Ken would gavel us in, take us through the meeting, announcement that have agreed to be our chair. And
Well,
then-
we would nominate, we'd ask for
That's right, because
nominations.
because Cheryl isn't moving up. So you would be the nominee, everybody would vote you in. You'll have to vote in.
Maybe, you need 5 votes. Now, if you're the only one nominated.
Don't throw her.
He gets all 5 votes and then she votes against it.
I
I've
know.
done that before. They voted me in the chair and I voted against it, and that's, yeah. But I mean, ultimately, the
You.
floor is open for nominations.
Yeah,
Somebody would nominate you, I would probably nominate you, you would
correct.
nominate for a vice chair and a treasurer. Organizing meeting in December. Once we elect those officers for the next calendar year, I'd finish up the meeting.
Correct.
And then we'd switch.
For a term going through next December.
Correct.
1-year term. Really, it's really just kind of running the meeting, which I'm sure. I rushed us through the first one. Yeah,
Done
all
a
that,
good job.
so, yeah, and so, really, that's what the big part is during the agenda review.
Everybody, has the opportunity to be heard. So correct, at least for now, we may do something in December based what we get through Monday.
Next month.
Yeah, thank you. I have to think about it for a second. But yeah, there's a workshop in January scheduled for us to kind of show a draft of the strategic plan.
Okay.
As close to a final draft as we can get. That's the goal. And then we would come back to the February meeting with the final product
To be adopted by the
to
board.
be adopted. Possible, that's the goal. At the latest, it would be adopted at the March meeting.
I'll tell you, Mayor, I've loved being the chair of the trust. I mean, I just have really enjoyed our board to this community. Next year, tomorrow, I'm probably going to get elected vice chair of the library, so I'm probably going to library board. And while I love chairing all these boards, I also think someone else, that guy's always up there, like, who is this? Having your strong
Mm.
voice as
With the events, what is protocol if you were to receive?
yeah, so what I asked for
Let's
first,
say if Marcia is not.
first of all, what I asked for prior to the event is I asked for talking points. But I have those talking points, you know,
Lee would be.
yeah, I'm not that rogue.
He stays with them, he just uses
I'm
his
kinda
own
rogue.
voice.
No, no,
That's it, he uses his own voice.
yeah, yeah, and I think that's important. You know, you are representing the board, but unless we've had a board vote, you're not. Question that's board hasn't discussed or hasn't opined on.
At the town halls last week, Ken and I had no discussion. He knew the town halls were gonna take place.
I just showed up.
He popped in and he was there. I said, you know, here's Mike, you wanna say something? He did. And talked about the value of literacy to the board, why we were invested in literacy. He wasn't with us Thursday night when we were at Santa Fe High School. Tina was there. And so I did the same thing. I said, Tina, would you like to speak? She came up and she did the same thing, but in her words, you know, as a person who ran for the school board, talking about the, you know, how important literacy is in this community. So
I think I'm thinking more if I were given feedback.
from the public about something that was going on.
Oh, yeah, all the hard stuff is just give it to Marcia. All the easy stuff.
These are not board issues.
That's pretty much protocol.
There are occasions where chairs have brought concerns to me or board members will meet with me and say, hey, here's something that I heard in the community. Can you share with me how we are addressing this? Or sometimes, is this true? And depending upon what it is, I may bring the team together to meet and say, okay, from the finance side of the house, here's what we've done. Molly would lead that discussion. Christie and or Belita would share with you programmatically what we've done, what the contract says. So we've done that. If it's just a person in the community who is frustrated about, you know, right now, the issue is what? Property taxes. It could be, you know, people talking about the fact that they really do want to see some tax reform and not understanding how that will impact the trust. You could come and say, hey, maybe we should, you know, as a trust, prepare something that we could give out to the public. That could be a conversation that we have as a board, and then that would be something that I would bring to staff and we would figure out how to address it. So I've
Yeah,
seen
and that-
all of that happen.
Yeah, so there've been two other things I guess I would add. So every board meeting, we have a chair report.
Mhm.
That's when I talk about anything that I did that's kind of out of cycle or that the board. I also forgot the chair also does Marcia's.
I really want to pull the personnel committee,
Oh.
which we haven't done. That I asked my fellow CEOs how they handle that. And most of them address it by having their personnel committee review them first. That's where the recommendations would come from. Any board member would be able to come to that meeting. So that's already been discussed.
Okay.
And by the time they come to the regular meeting, it's really just a recommendation as opposed to full display that is very awkward
Yeah.
for your executive director.
That's-
So I said, okay, and you all, the chair, the vice chair, and the treasurer are the personnel committee for the
And
trust.
and the finance committee is made up of?
Treasurer, and then any other members who have expressed interest. Right now, it's Maggie and Lee. Coming into the new year, see if there are any other members who might be interested. Kim will no longer be chair, but he may still be interested. Finance committee.
So the personnel committee is chair, vice chair,
Elected officers.
Executive board.
finance is finance chair.
Chair, the vice chair, the treasurer.
No, Maggie was chair this year. Yeah,
We added
Maggie,
Lee.
we added Lee. Chair.
And how often is finance meeting?
So you all will decide, but it's kind of been quarterly. Yeah. Budget, I think we met in March. Well, I don't know, I wasn't here in March, but we met in April, we met in May, and then we brought the full proposed budget in June. Should be a March meeting, April meeting. Budget would be presented public at the June meeting.
I don't remember reviewing a nine. Right, right. Can't think of.
Second Monday of the month, except for July and January, then we meet twice in September, plus some ad hoc meetings for the finance.
Right now are tentative until from BOCC library because we can't on the same dates. Or it makes it very difficult for at least this one board member to be there. Plus you want the public, right? The whole purpose is for the public to be able to.
Anything else, Mary?
No, the last thing I think of, okay, so we're adopting a strategic plan. I know where we are in that. Oh, I think I've got enough. We could get. All is not in our court. There's nothing. Are there any things that either
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
the legislative session. I think we're gonna
Yeah.
have something on the ballot, but that won't affect this current year at USG. It'll affect our planning for the budget
you
cycle.
mean property taxes?
Yeah. Something is gonna get put on the ballot for the taxpayers to approve. And it is my strong belief that whatever is put on the ballot will pass. Votes, but I don't it's unlikely that folks will not vote to reduce their tax. What gets put on there? That'll have some strategic plan.
March.
End of March?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's an early session
It'll-
because
yeah.
it's election.
Early March, sine die, but then if they have a special
Right.
session,
This
which
year.
I expect they will.
Things getting ex-
That's our general discussion. Any public discussion?
Staff wants to say.
All right, we'll call. Right on the nose, 2:30.